So, as we said, the World Juniors are starting up. Again, I'm kind of in a position where I want to stream some games, but I don't really know if that's in the realm of possibility due to my busy life. It's hot girl summer, isn't it? But with the World Juniors comes a conversation or two about the prospects that will be in the tournament themselves. And we had ourselves some NHL Network TV segments going over some of these players, which is what I wanted to bring here onto the channel today, because when it comes to New Jersey Devils' 4th overall pick in the 2021 NHL Entry Draft, Luke Hughes, there has been a pretty good discourse going around about this guy the past few days. Now, just to get things out of the way first, yes, Luke Hughes is the younger brother of Quinn Hughes from the Vancouver Canucks, as well as Jack Hughes, who also happens to be New Jersey property. Luke is the biggest of the three Hughes bros. He's 6'2", 190. Quinn is 5'10". Jack Hughes, I believe, is also 5'10", if not 5'11". So Luke being the biggest one, yeah, it's kind of a trend among siblings, isn't it? The youngest one is always the tallest, and the oldest one is always the smallest. It's kind of funny how that works, isn't it? But Luke Hughes is indeed participating as a member of Team USA in this year's World Juniors, and as a result, you have yourself segments like this one on NHL Network going out there and talking about the Luke Hughes dynamic, what this guy brings to the game, what his ceiling is, and how he compares to his brother. This segment went sort of viral on Twitter the other day, and I actually saw it get posted around on the Devil subreddit as well. They were kind of frustrated with some of the things that the guy was saying because he messed up Luke Hughes' draft spot. He said he was 21st overall instead of saying that he was 4th overall in the 2021 draft in the first round. But either way, you know, I make a few slip-ups here and there on air because that's what happens when you talk for a living. Let's go over Luke Hughes, the profile he has, the production he has had so far, as well as what this conversation on NHL Network brought up, the idea as to whether or not Quinn Hughes has the same level of dynamism and offensive upside as his older brother Quinn. So, Luke Hughes, as we noted, the biggest of the Hughes bros, was born in 2003, September 9th, making him one of the youngest players in the entire 2021 draft. Had he been born just a week later, he would have been eligible for the 2022 draft and not eligible for 2021. This is a pretty good distinction because you take a look at Luke Hughes versus a guy like Owen Power, who was almost a full calendar year older than Luke. There really is a lot that one can accomplish in 1 year's worth of development time, so when you have situations like this where Owen Power is one of the oldest guys in the draft, Luke Hughes is one of the youngest guys in the draft, you compare what they did in their previous seasons, it's another factor added into the Luke Hughes is better territory box because, hey, age is on his side. Either way, though, when he was drafted 4th overall by the New Jersey Devils, he had wrapped up his last season with the NTDP, getting 34 points in 38 games in the process. Now, if you go over to Quinn Hughes, Vancouver Canucks' current all-star defender and likely the best defenseman the Canucks have ever had, even at this young stage in his career, he's 22 years old. As we said, he's smaller. He's making $7.85 million a season until 2027. And in Quinn's last season with the NTGP, he had 26 points in 26 games played. So, Luke had a slightly worse points per game. However, it is interesting to note that for the U17 squad, Luke's production in the U17 team was actually a lot better than Quinn's when he was at that same age range too. Luke had 28 points in 48 games played in 2019-20. Quinn had 11 points in 34 games in 2015-16. I get it, there's a difference in draft year here because Quinn was drafted out of Michigan because he was born in October of 1999, but there's another factor added on for Luke when you're trying to say, okay, draft year comparability, it's a little different because Luke was a late September birthday versus Quinn, who was an early October birthday. Let's go over onto their rookie seasons with the University of Michigan Wolverines, though, because this is where things get a little bit different. Quinn Hughes, in his first season, his 18-year-old season in the NCAA, had 29 points in 37 games played as a member of the Wolverines. Luke Hughes, this previous season, which was his rookie year, had himself 39 points in 41 games played, 17 goals and 22 assists. Quinn had 5 goals in his season, and this is really where you start to see disparity present itself in the point production for both of these players, Luke Hughes has always been touted as a lot more of a goal scorer than Quinn Hughes was. He's a little bigger, he's a little stronger with his shot, he places his shot a little bit better, and this season with the Wolverines, Devils fans really saw that as their 4th overall prospect had half a goal a game pretty much. He was going out there sniping goals from the blue line, he was taking slap shots, he was setting up guys. He was doing all the things that Quinn Hughes is able to do because he's got an elusive way of moving across the offensive zone in order to open up space for him and his teammates, and he's got the hockey IQ to find those open lanes, find those teammates, find those shooting opportunities, and put up numbers as a result. The video here on NHL Network says that Luke Hughes is 6'2", but he's got the dynamics of a player and skater that's 5'8", and he sees the ice very well. Now that comment is really unique. I don't really know if that translates immediately across as a compliment to most people, but what Bill Lindsay is saying here on NHL Network Radio is that, hey, Luke Hughes may be a big dude, he's got a solid frame and he's pretty strong, but he sees the ice and he maneuvers around the ice with the same precision, finesse, and accuracy that a 5'8" defenseman who is successful is able to do as well. It's interesting because there is a comparison or two made to Quinn Hughes, and there's actually a few video clips shared of these two players, Quinn and Luke, both making similar plays in the offensive zone. However, Bill Lindsay also says that there is the likelihood that Luke does not have the same pure offensive ceiling that Quinn does in his arsenal. Now, let's take a look at what Quinn Hughes has done with the Vancouver Canucks so far. Last season, he had 68 points in 76 games played. He also was a point per game for the team in the playoffs when they went to the second round in the bubble, which was very good for a lot of Canucks fans to see. Quinn Hughes had 60 assists on a bad Canucks team. Sure, he had 8 goals, which was fantastic to see, but just the overall point production, as I said, he's already probably the best offensive defenseman the Canucks have ever had in their system, which is wild since he's only 22 years old, but with Luke Hughes, I definitely do want to say that there is a possibility he has that same ceiling, if not maybe even just a little bit more, with his goals. While Quinn is an absolute cowboy out there, he can pivot left and right, he can spin around like a spin cycle, and just open up space with his edges, I don't necessarily think that Luke Hughes has the same level of agility on his feet, although he makes up for it tenfold with his power, the stride that he has, the strength that he has as well, because those are all things that Quinn Hughes unfortunately does not have because he's a lot smaller. You also have the World Junior production. Quinn Hughes, when he was 18 years old, playing for the United States American team, he had himself 3 assists in 7 games played. Luke Hughes, so far in the tournament, at the time of recording this audio, has 2 points in the 1 game he had, a goal and an assist as well. So, good on him for being able to produce. Also good on him for getting 4 points in 10 games as a member of the American World Championships team. Quinn Hughes also suited up for the American World Championship squad in his freshman year. He had 2 assists in 10 games played. Luke Hughes had double the amount of points at 4 points in 10 games played as well. So, everywhere you go, except for the final NTDP year that both of these guys had, you can see that Luke has significantly outproduced Quinn in terms of all of the metrics. Michigan freshman year, World Junior year, World Championship year, U17 year. It's been quite an interesting pattern noting just how good Luke has been, because even as far back as like 2019, I want to say, scouts out there were saying that Luke Hughes had the potential of being better than Quinn in terms of his offensive ceiling, because he was bigger, because he had some of the same skills, and he saw the game the same way that Quinn did. Obviously, we're not talking about Jack here, because Jack is a center, and Jack is probably going to be a 90, 95, 100 point pace player for the rest of the days in his career. But for Luke, this is a guy that could realistically go out there and max out, in my opinion, as a 70, 75 point defenseman. Like, I mean, Roman Josi almost had 100 this year, so who knows how far the defenseman scoring race is going to go over the next few seasons, but still. Luke Hughes is a guy that could very well be competing with Quinn for that defenseman scoring title year in and year out, as long as Cale Makar has something to say about it too. So, do I agree with the NHL Network video saying that Luke Hughes might not have the same offensive ceiling output potential as Quinn does? I don't really think so. I definitely do think that Luke has a lot more to show for in the tank, and as he makes the NHL soon, as he progresses throughout his years in his entry-level contract, eventually getting the bag, like Quinn and like Jack have gotten in the past as well, we're gonna see some very good things out of this guy. Although for now, all we've got to do is take a look at the World Juniors, take a look at Team USA, and say, darn it, that guy's doing really well. Let's see how he does as his career progresses. Talk to me in the comments on your thoughts about Quinn Hughes and Luke Hughes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Juraj rolls 99. And bye.